See that train a-coming round the bend.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's 1991 Class 3A Alabama High School Athletic Association State Championship game from Glenn Daniel Stadium in Luverne, Alabama. We've got an excellent matchup tonight. We have the second-ranked 14-0 Plainview Bears from Rainsville, Alabama, under the guidance of the 8th-year head coach Dale Pruitt, versus the 10th-ranked 12-2 Luverne Tigers, under the guidance of the venerable 37th year coach Glenn Daniels. They're calling attention here. We're going to pause for the silent meditation and the national anthem.
We'll play the national anthem.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, we would like to welcome you tonight to the Class 3A State Championship game from Glenn Daniel Stadium in Luverne, Alabama. Now, something must give in this title game. Plainview is the state's highest scoring team, scoring a total of 546 points, which is a 3A state record for total number of points, and they're averaging 39 points per game. And they're playing the Luverne Tigers, the state's stingiest defensive team, with only allowing 54 total points, which is an average of 3.9 points per game with 8 shutouts. And the Tigers have not even been scored on in the last 13 quarters. We would like to welcome you here to Glenn Daniel Stadium. My name is Chip Wallace, and I'm going to do the play-by-play, and I'm proud to have Coach David Helms, the head coach of the Goshen Eagles, here as the color commentator for tonight's game. The teams are getting set to come in here before we begin action tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about them. I'll let Coach David Helms talk a little bit about the Luverne Tiger team.
Thank you, Chip. Luverne, Chip, comes in with a record of 12-2 tonight, having only lost 2 games this season, one being the 3A Slocum, which is in their area, and McKenzie, which is also playing for a state title tonight in 1A. Of course, you mentioned they were coached by Coach Glenn Daniels, who is the winningest active coach in the state of Alabama at this time. Coach Daniels has developed a very fine program here at Luverne. Playoffs or no, the playoff situation is not new to either team, and Luverne's been there in the past several years, being beaten last year in the second round by eventual champion Dallas County. This year, Luverne's rolled through the playoffs with seemingly a team on a mission, only giving up 10 points, and that was to their first opponent, the first-round opponent, and then having shut out their remaining opponents. So Luverne's showing a little offense here at the end of the year, as well as a great defense. Basically, on offense, Luverne will basically run from 2 tight ends, split backs, flanker set, occasionally run a wing back. But I think we'll see them, Chip, run a lot of leads and some pitches, and maybe try to do some option type plays on offense. But I think we keep an eye on number 9, Gregory. I think he'll be a key to their offense tonight. Defensively, as you mentioned, they are very tough, giving up only 44 points this entire season. They're very quick on defense. I think their quickness is going to play a big part in tonight's game. Also, they haven't given up a score in the last 13 quarters, so it should be very interesting as far as Luverne's defense matching up with Plainview's offense. But again, you know, Luverne having a great year so far at 12-2, and of course looking to end it tonight with a state championship. Also, Chip, I'll mention that Luverne's played 3 of their 4 playoff games on the road, so I'm sure they're excited to be at home playing for the state title tonight.
All right, both teams are coming on the field now. You can see the Luverne Tigers, several of their captains have already entered the field, and now the Plainview Bears are coming on. Now, we didn't know much about Plainview because they're up in DeKalb County on Sand Mountain in the northeast corner of the state, near Fort Payne and Scottsboro, in that area of the state. But I talked with Coach Dale Pruitt last night, and he was really impressed with this Luverne defense. He named several factors that could have a big bearing on tonight's championship game concerning Luverne's defense. He said that their speed was outstanding, that he probably hadn't faced a team this entire season with more speed than Luverne. He said that their linebacking group was one of the best that he had seen in years. And he mentioned Luverne's extreme quickness getting to the ball. Now, the Plainview Bears drove down on Thursday and spent the night in Montgomery and practiced on Jeff Davis's practice field Thursday. They came to Troy Thursday night and practiced this morning over at one of Troy State's practice field. Now, they're no stranger to the playoffs either, because they lost last year in the 1990 3A state championship game by a score of 40-7 to the champion Dallas County Hornets. And Coach Pruitt mentioned that this year's players are excited, but they're restrained. In the last 3 seasons, the Bears have a 39-4 record. And Coach Pruitt would like to see all the championship games played at a neutral site. He had mentioned this, and you can tell by the overflow crowd here that we could have used the stadium that was a little bigger, but that's part of the state playoffs, in my opinion, is having it at your home site if you happen to be the host team, is that atmosphere that you get from the home field and the situations that you can get into with that. The captains are coming out on the field tonight, and as you can see from our fine camera work, that the Plainview Bears are wearing silver pants, white jerseys with the Navy numerals and what they call Columbia trim, and the Navy helmets with a white bear paw on the side. David, will you describe the Luverne team for us?
Chip, basically Luverne has got on the red top with the white numerals and the gray pants with the red trim. Looks to be, you know, quite a few seniors for Luverne tonight out at the middle of the field for the coin toss. Looking earlier, I noticed that Plainview was going to start 8 seniors on offense, so not really sure about how many seniors Luverne will start, but certainly, you know, experience may be a big factor tonight. But, you know, Luverne's got quite a few seniors. Number 9 will be a key, I think, Chip, for Luverne, Erik Gregory. He's out at midfield now with the toss. I think he'll play running back as well as linebacker. He certainly will be a key tonight.
All right, thank you, David. You can tell that there's definitely excitement in the air. We're real close to the fans here during our broadcast, so if we pick up some of the crowd noise, that's only natural at a state championship game. A little more about Plainview here. We mentioned that they were 14-0, and they were ranked 2nd in the final Alabama High School Athletic Association 3A poll. Their primary offense is a wing T, and it's a potent wing T because they lead the state in scoring with 446 regular season points plus 100 scored in the playoffs for a total of 546. Coach Helms, did you see who won the toss on that? We didn't catch it here. The crowd's so loud, it's hard to tell. We'll pick it up from the PA announcer in just a minute. Going back to Plainview, though, they are a potent offensive team against the state's stingiest defensive team. So we're in for a good game tonight, and it's a state championship game. You can hear the crowd. It may be hard to hear David and I on some of our commentations due to the loudness of the crowd, but that's to be expected at a state championship game. It's not, but every so often you get that chance. Like David had mentioned, that Coach Daniel has been coaching here at Luverne 37 years, and this will be his first shot at a state championship. Whereas Coach Pruitt took the Bears to the state championship last year versus Dallas County in Plantersville, and he got drummed 40-7. So he's got experience there too. And both coaches and both teams are eager to win that first state championship.
Chip, just for a second, you mentioned that Plainview runs a wing T offense. You know, it'll be very interesting to see how Luverne defends their wing T. The wing T is an offense that basically can attack you anywhere on the field. They utilize quickness at the guard positions. It's a trapping offense as well as a outside offense where the quick pitch can turn into a big play at any time. I noticed their quarterback, Pruitt, has thrown for 15 touchdowns. So, and basically the wing T utilizes a fullback with a split halfback. And, of course, a wing back on their tight end and a split end opposite that. So you have the big threat of a pass on any down with your split end, as well as basically what amounts to an unbalanced line to your wing back. So it'll be interesting to see how Luverne stacks up against this offense.
All right, we're set for the kickoff, and the Plainview Bears will be receiving the opening kickoff with Luverne kicking off. So we'll get to see that wing T in action very early here in the game. Plainview's receiving the kickoff. They're defending the north end zone. And it's kicked into the end zone and down where Plainview will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Chip, I noticed number 11, Keith, their halfback that ran over 1,500 yards during the year. They had him back deep on the kick return, as you would well expect. But like you said, Luverne kicked it out the end zone, and we'll start from the 20.
All right, we're going to see that stingiest state defense against the most potent state offense to begin with here. Luverne set in that wing T offense with the 3 backs, and they give it to one of the trailing backs. It's number 30. We'll pick up the numbers right here.
I believe his name's Jeff White.
Right,
Jeff,
that's their wing back, I believe.
Fullback.
Fullback.
I believe it's their fullback, and as you mentioned earlier, their fullbacks have combined for over 1,200 yards this season. But Luverne basically lined up in a 5-3 at that point, Chip.
All right, he picked up 3 yards on the carry at 2nd and 7 Plainview from their own 23-yard line. Again, the wing T formation. They split one of the backs wide. Let's see, here he goes. Number 11. That's Phillip Keith on a good carry on that, David.
Chip, basically, they had a wing T set to the right then, and that is one of the trap plays I was telling you about, a counter play where the wing T uses a lot of misdirection. As I noticed in warm-ups, Plainview would use some motion by their wing back, coming back to the weak side, and then run a crossing play back to the tight end, and that was the halfback then.
That was a good run by Plainview. He picked up 27 yards on that carry and took it to midfield. Here we get back into action with Plainview in the wing T. Fake to the backs, and the quarterback's going to throw, but he's rushed and pressured hard by the Luverne Tigers. A good defensive play by Luverne.
Chip, I think, you know, after the big run by number 11, Keith, I think maybe Plainview was trying to set Luverne up for a big play early. But again, the fake off the counter play and then drop back, tried to hit the split end deep.
All right, Plainview again set to play 2nd and 10 from midfield in the wing T. He hands off to the fullback again, number 30, White. Jeff White on the carry. He picks up about 7 yards, though, on that carry. A good running team this Plainview Bear is. They do a good job.
Basically, they had an unbalanced line to the right then, and I think Luverne maybe shifted over or did not shift over, and that lead play was very effective.
All right, that brings up a 3rd and 5 they're showing on the scoreboard here. Looks like really about 3rd and 4. Again to the fullback, White. Good yardage. Good yardage on the carry by number 30, Jeff White, the fullback for the Plainview Bears.
Chip, basically a trap play up the middle with the fullback. That is a basic play out the wing T offense. Like I said, it's a trapping offense, and again, they had a wing T set to the left and a quick fullback trap, very effective.
David, early in this game, it looks like the line for Plainview is doing an outstanding job, though, opening some big holes for that fullback that they've been running on most of their plays so far. Again to the fullback, number 30, Jeff White. They stopped him pretty good then, though. He looked to pick up maybe a couple of yards.
I'm sorry. I think, you know, Plainview may be trying to take advantage of Luverne's aggressive defense by trapping. You know, that's one of the things you can do with a very aggressive defense is instead of powering them, you can trap them because they're going to come at you very hard.
All right, they're in the wing T formation, but they've got a flanker split wide out to the left. Movement on the line, and flags go down. We'll wait till the referees make the call before we make any determinations.
Chip, I believe you saw number 11, Keith, start in motion as they have done several times on this drive. And of course, that particular time drew Luverne off.
Okay, it was offsides against the Luverne Tigers. Instead of 2nd and 8, it'll bring up 2nd and 3, and they're down on the Luverne 25. That stingy defense is going to have to hold them here. They've been moving it down the field from their own 20 now to the Luverne 25. And a quarterback keeper, number 12, Jeremy Pruitt on the quarterback keeper play, and he picks up good yardage, David. That line looks to be doing an excellent job to begin this game.
Chip, I think the Plainview coaching staff's doing a great job of mixing up plays. They sent their tight end, their way a split in motion then, faked the lead up in the middle they've been having success with, and the quarterback pulled it and basically bootlegged to the same side. It wasn't an option. They had no trail back, but a very effective play.
All right, Plainview is down just inside the Luverne 10-yard line. 1st and goal, and again, they give it to that number 30 to fullback, Jeff White, and he gets some good yardage too.
Again, Chip, that was the unbalanced set to the right that Plainview used earlier in the drive, and basically, you know, just doing a great job of play selection. Fullback trap, pitching it outside, the big pass play they tried to hit. I think Luverne's really right now trying to figure out basically where Plainview's going to tackle.
All right, Plainview's on the Luverne 5 with a 2nd and goal to go. In the wing tee, they split in one of the flankers. Let's see the quarterback keeper. He's in. Nope, just short of the touchdown. That was number 12 quarterback Jeremy Pruitt, who happens to be the son of head coach Dale Pruitt from Plainview. He's just outside the goal line, David.
Chip, again, you know, the quarterback turned around and faked the lead play, pulled it out, and basically, you know, Luverne is trying to stop the lead and the inside plays. And when the quarterback pulls it, really, with a split into his same side, you know, the cornerback can't help much, and he's pretty much free to run.
Okay, 3rd and goal to go. Less than a yard for the Plainview Bears. And they give it to the fullback, number 30, Jeff White, and he's in for a touchdown. Number 30, Jeff White, dives over the line and gets in for the Plainview Bears. They'll be in to attempt the extra point now. That was an 80-yard drive for Plainview, going from their own 20-yard line into the Luverne end zone. It took about half of the, well, a little less than half of the first quarter on that drive. Timeout, Plainview. With 7:46 remaining in the first quarter play, your score is Plainview 6, Luverne 0. Plainview calls a timeout before they attempt the extra point.
Chip, you got to be impressed with this offensive line for Plainview. They basically drove 80 yards and you know, really opened up a lot of holes for the fullback as well as the halfback. You know, we've talked about number 78, their right tackle Jackson, as being a major college prospect, but I think we've got some others that need taking a look at. Offensive line performing very well right now.
Okay, Plainview is set to attempt the extra point. It's number 11, Phillip Keith, the starting halfback that's in the kick for Plainview. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good with plenty of room, David. That kick was straight and true through the midsection of the goalpost. With 7:46 remaining in the first quarter of play, it's the Plainview Bears from Rainsville 7, the Luverne Tigers 0. And David, one thing that the Plainview coach had mentioned, he was concerned about the quickness and aggressiveness of the Luverne Tiger defense, but he seemed to be ready for him and had his offensive plays ready to counter that quickness and aggressiveness like you were talking about.
Chip, I think you're right. I think they're you know, coming out and trapping Luverne as they have and using the misdirection and mixing up the plays very well. I think, you know, had a very impressive drive and possibly, you know, we'll see Luverne make some adjustments probably on the next series. But, you know, that's something you really hate to see is a team open up the game on their opening drive with a touchdown. You know, it takes some wind out of you, but be interesting to see what Luverne does on offense their first series.
All right, here we go with the kickoff. Number 11, Phillip Keith, kicking the ball. Bounded down, and number 32 for Luverne, that's James Taylor, picks up the kickoff, but he is hit almost immediately by the Plainview Bears. Good kickoff coverage on that play, David, by Plainview.
Chip, it really was. A lot of teams kick off, well, not a lot of teams kick off from the hash, but Plainview does. And basically, I don't know whether it's planned or not, but basically a very high kick, and you're going to get good coverage on those kind.
All right, 1st and 10 for Luverne at their own 24-yard line, using that split veer formation that they've used most all the season. Handoff to the back, number 9, that's Erik Gregory, that good running back that's gotten so much yardage for Luverne this year. He picks up on the carry. Looks like about 5 yards, so it will be 2nd and 5. That was Luverne's first offensive play from scrimmage, and he did manage to pick up 5 yards. Number 9 again, Erik Gregory on the carry for Luverne. 2nd and 5 from their own 29. Again to Gregory, number 9. He breaks through a couple of arm tackles and picks up good yardage all the way to the Luverne 47-yard line. He gained about 18 yards on that carry, David.
Chip, Gregory is a great running back, and you know, as we can see, I think Luverne's going to give it to him quite a bit tonight, and as you would expect them to. But right now, you know, both offenses looking very good.
All right, the quarterback for Luverne is number 7, Jace Morgan. The running backs, number 9, Erik Gregory, and number 34, Antonio Brown. The handoff is to Antonio Brown. He gets a couple of yards, a good defensive play by the Plainview Bears, limited to a pickup of 2, so it will be 2nd down and 8 from their own 49 for the Luverne Tigers.
Chip, Luverne seems to be bigger on the offensive line than Plainview is on their defensive line, but I think Plainview may be quicker on the front, and that play was a lead play, and the quick hitting plays may work better for Luverne. We'll see.
2nd and 8 for the Tigers at their own 49. Morgan, a quarterback, Gregory and Brown, the running backs, and a pitch back to Brown, number 34, and he's run out of bounds by the Plainview Bear defense. All right, it's going to be marked at the Plainview 45-yard line. He's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2 for the Luverne Tigers at the Plainview 45-yard line. Morgan, a quarterback, Erik Gregory, one of the running backs, the other, number 34, Antonio Brown. The handoff to Antonio Brown, and a good hold by the Luverne Tiger offensive line, and he picks up the first down easily, David.
Chip, I think Luverne's picked up real quick on what Plainview's doing. They're basically lining up in a 4-3 defensive set with a strong safety to Luverne's flanker side, but Chip, they're sliding over to a nose-type defense to Luverne's strong side. Evidently have picked up on film that Luverne likes to run to the flanker. But then Luverne came to the weak side and had good success.
1st and 10, Luverne Tigers at the Plainview 38-yard line. The pitch back to number 9, Erik Gregory. He got some pretty good yardage, so it looked like they had him stopped for little or no gain, but he's going to pick up about 4 or 5 yards on the carry.
Chip, Luverne basically had a one-back set then. They had their flanker in kind of tight like a wing back, and their other running back was also out there. So basically an unbalanced set with one running back, and they quick pitch to that unbalanced side. So again, it was, you know, very good play, and might have caught Plainview off guard on that particular play.
All right, he did pick up 5 yards. They're showing on the scoreboard. 2nd and 5 for the Tigers at the Plainview 34-yard line. One back is Gregory, and they hand off again to him. but Plainview makes a good tackle. He's not going to pick up but maybe a yard at the most, David. I mean, the Plainview Bear defensive line was right in on him.
Chip, again, Luverne went unbalanced set to the left, putting their wing back in tight and a running back out there with one back. And I don't think Plainview adjusted very well to the set, and Luverne tried to counter back to the weak side, and Plainview is ready for him.
All right, they're giving him little or no gain. 3rd down and 5 for the Tigers at the Plainview 34-yard line. The pitch back, oh, he's giving it back to number 9, Erik Gregory. And you can see Gregory's got good speed. A flag goes down on the play, though. We'll have to see what they call here. He had gotten down till about the 20-yard line, and it was the Luverne first down, but there's a yellow flag on the play. This will be the first penalty of the game. That penalty was face masking against the Plainview Bears.
Chip, that was a very well executed option play by the quarterback Morgan. Faking to the dive back and pulling it and coming down, reading the defensive end. Of course, the defensive end attacked him, and he laid it out there perfectly to the halfback. Very good game.
All right, that'll give the Tigers, with the face masking penalty, a 1st and 10 from the Plainview Bear 11-yard line. Again, 2 backs in that split veer formation. Flags on the play. Look like movement by one of the teams. We'll wait and see what the referee's call is.
Chip, I think it was Luverne went to a twin set then to their left, 2 wide outs, and I think one of them moved before the snap.
Referees are still discussing it.
Chip, Luverne showing quite a few formations early. Not only the 2 tight end flanker double back set, but an unbalanced set, which we haven't seen much, and also the twin set that we just saw. So maybe trying to confuse the Bear defense.
That call was a legal procedure against the Luverne Tigers. That's what the referees had signaled, so that'll move them back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15 from the Plainview 16-yard line. Again, a legal procedure against the Luverne Tigers. Morgan is the quarterback. Number 34, Antonio Brown, and number 32, James Taylor, the running backs. The handoff is to James Taylor, number 32, but he's stacked up after gaining about 2 yards by the Plainview Bears. That'll bring up about a 2nd and 13. He was going on the off-tackle carry, but didn't get much yardage, David, on that carry.
Chip, Luverne went with a wing back then, and like I said, that's another formation they run, but, you know, they basically put themselves in a hole with 1st and 15 like that, so they may try a pass here in a second.
All right, 2nd and 13. He gave him 2 yards on the carry. Number 7, Jace Morgan, a quarterback. Number 34, Antonio Brown, and number 32, James Taylor. Quarterback keeper. Jace Morgan keeps the ball and gets down inside the 10-yard line. He's at the 9-yard line.
Chip, I think Morgan might have been checking off in the line of scrimmage. I know it took a little longer than normal, and maybe, you know, Luverne may be fixing to try some checking off, some audibles at the line.
All right, it's 3rd down and 8. They've got to get to about the 1-yard line for a 1st down. They're at the Plainview Bear 9 with 3rd and 8. They bring number 9, Erik Gregory, back into the backfield for Luverne, along with James Taylor, number 32. It looks like a passing play, a little shovel pass. That's complete, but it doesn't pick up enough for the 1st down. He got down to about the 5-yard line. The pass was complete to number 85, Sean Penn. So it'll be 4th down for Luverne. 4th and 6 to go. They spotted him at the 7-yard line. So let's see what Luverne's going to attempt here. They were successful in winning a game in the late stages in the 1st round of the playoffs when they defeated St. Paul's Episcopal Saints by a score of 13-10 on a field goal. That was what won the game, and it looked like to be trying a field goal here from about, they're spotting it at the 15-yard line, so it'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt. Number 85, Sean Penn, in to attempt it, and the kick is up. It's off to the right and no good. The kick by Penn had enough distance, but it was off to the right and no good. So the score remains with 1:46 to go in the 1st quarter of play. The Plainview Bears 7, the Luverne Tigers 0.
Chip, Luverne moved the ball very well then on Plainview defense, and you know, that's got to be a good feeling for them. Not to come out with any points is hurt some, but you know, knowing they can move the ball on them, I think that's going to get them some added confidence.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Plainview Bears at their own 20-yard line. Flags flying on the play before they actually got it off.
Chip, I think you had an offensive lineman in the Plainview line to move prior to the snap. Right now, you know, Luverne's defense has really got to bow its back and maybe, you know, create a turnover or at least stop Plainview here and get the ball back in good field position.
You were right on that one, David. It was a legal procedure called against the Plainview Bears, so that'll be 1st and 15. This is where that Luverne defense needs to get stingy like it's been all year and keep them backed up where they can get the ball back again in good field position. Plainview set to go. Number 12, Jeremy Pruitt, the quarterback. And again, a handoff, it looks like, to the fullback, Jeff White. And he's going to gain approximately 5 yards on the carry, back about to the original line of scrimmage, which is at the 20. It is a 5-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Plainview Bears at their own 20-yard line.
Chip, the wing tee is, you know, you've got to be real disciplined on defenses. I'm sure Coach Daniels and them have covered all week. So many weapons they can hurt you with. You know, the fullback, like we talked about, the halfback, there's just so many weapons. It's hard to defend.
2nd and 10 Plainview from their own 20. They're really using that fullback a lot. It's number 30, Jeff White, and he picks up good yardage. Good yardage on that carry, all the way up to the 38-yard line. That was an 18-yard gain by their fullback. These running backs out of this wing tee, we knew they were a potent offense by scoring so many points and setting that record, but the linemen have a lot to do with that too, David. They're opening some huge holes on this Luverne defense. It's been so good all year. It is a 1st down, 1st and 10 Plainview at their own. That was a 14-yard pickup, excuse me, at their own 34. This time the Luverne defense met him head on, and there's no gain on the play. Number 11, the halfback Phillip Keith was the ball carrier. He's the leading ground gainer in rushing for the Plainview Bears this year with over 1,500 yards rushing. And he only gets a yard at most, David. That was a good stop by the Luverne Tiger defense.
Chip, it really was. Plainview's utilizing some motion in their backfield. That last play with the fullback before that was a motion play, and they handed it off on a lead type play, and that was the same type play then.
All right, 2nd and 9 for Plainview at the Luverne Tiger. At their own 35. And this time they bottle up number 11 halfback Phillip Keith for no gain on the play again, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 9. This is what that Luverne Tiger defense needs to do, is bow its back and stiffen up and not let the Plainview Bears get a 1st down. They'll time out by the Plainview Bears on the play, David.
Chip, of course that'll end the 1st quarter, but
right,
Plainview,
it wasn't a timeout. That was the end of the 1st quarter. You're right.
Plainview, Chip, they're mixing up the plays very well, taking advantage of Luverne's quickness on defense. But this particular drive, Chip, they're using some motion in their backfield. And basically, the wing tee, when they bring a back in motion and then hand it to the other back, basically it creates a mismatch situation where you have more blockers than they have tacklers, so to speak. And they're attempting to do that right now. The last 2 plays, though, Luverne's had great defensive plays. So, maybe Luverne is tightening up on their defense some. Of course, this is a big series right here. Luverne really needs to hold them, get the ball back, and tie this game up, Chip.
I've noticed, too, David, that the Plainview Bears don't take much time in the huddle. They're set and ready to go. It's not really a no-huddle offense, but they take very little time in that huddle. They're ready to go as soon as the defense is lined up. Now, we'll begin 2nd quarter action with the score, the Plainview Bears 7, the Luverne Tigers 0.
Chip, this 3rd and 9 situation, it'd be interesting to see right here. Plainview attempted 1 pass in the 1st quarter and, of course, got sacked. So it'd be interesting to see what they call right here.
All right. Quarterback is Jeremy Pruitt for the Plainview Bears. He'll take the snap. Looks like a passing play. He's setting up. Gets the pass off, and it's complete to number 22, and that's Dennis Brown for the Plainview Bears. And that picked up the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 for Plainview, just inside the Luverne Tiger 45-yard line. A good passing play, David, for the Plainview Bears on their first pass completion.
Chip, they went to a double wing set then, and basically a bootleg type action, and the quarterback hit the tight end dragging across the middle.
This time the handoff to their halfback, number 11, Phillip Keith, their leading ground gainer. It looks like we've got an injured player. He's getting back up, though. And Keith picks up almost 5 yards. They're giving him 4 yards, it looked like, so it'll be 2nd and 6. He's just outside the Luverne Tiger 40-yard line.
Chip, with an offense like Plainview, you know, the misdirection, the bootlegs are going to really, you know, once you get aggressive and start getting to the ball and they bootleg it on you and stuff, that really creates problems. They're back in the double wing set.
2nd and 6 for Plainview in the double wing set. Quarterback keeper. The ball is fumbled. They hit the quarterback and he lost it. And Luverne recovers. Number 34 on the recovery for Luverne. That's Antonio Brown. That was the turnover Luverne needed early in the game here to get some momentum going their way, because Plainview again was moving it down the field, David.
Chip, I think turnover is going to have to play a big part in this ball game. Plainview seems to have just a very potent offense, as we knew. So, you know, a lucky break for Luverne. Maybe they can turn some points out of it.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Luverne Tigers at their own 33-yard line. The handoff to number 9, Erik Gregory. And he bulls ahead for a gain of about 2 to 3 yards. They're giving him a gain of 4 yards. They're saying 2nd and 6 for Luverne.
Chip, Plainview's defensive line is very quick. Their linebackers are playing up real tight. So basically they're putting 7 and 8 men right up on the football. Gregory made a good run then, but basically pretty much on his own.
Okay, 2nd and 6 for the Tigers. Number 7, the quarterback, Jace Morgan. The running backs, number 9, Erik Gregory, and number 34, Antonio Brown. And the handoff is to Antonio Brown, and he falls ahead for some more pretty good yardage. He's going to pick up about 4 more yards, and it looks like it's going to bring up a 3rd and 2 for the Luverne Tigers at their own 46-yard line. So the running backs look like they've been picking up some yardage on their own, David, on these 2 running plays we've seen Luverne use.
Chip, you're exactly right. Running backs are running hard, and again, Luverne appears to be running to their weak side some. Maybe they found some weak spot in Plainview defense.
Morgan to accept the snap. Running backs again, number 34, Antonio Brown, and number 9, Erik Gregory. And Gregory gets the pitch out, and he's getting around. Good yardage. They strip the ball loose, but it goes out of bounds. I believe Plainview had fallen on it, but it went out of bounds, David. That was a lucky break for Luverne because he had dropped it, but the ball did fall and roll out of bounds. But he picked up enough for the first down for the Luverne Tigers, where it'll be 1st and 10 Luverne at their own 45-yard line.
Chip, it was a very lucky break for Luverne. Erik Gregory, number 9, is a very hard runner, and of course broke 2-3 tackles and was fixing to hit the sideline and possibly score, and had the ball stripped from him. So, but Luverne able to move the ball right now.
All right, this time they bring number 32, James Taylor, into the backfield, and a handoff goes to him, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards on the carry.
Chip, Luverne, again, utilizing different formations, maybe to try to throw Plainview off guard. Basically, Plainview is playing almost 9 people up on the ball, Chip. They're weak side corners walking up within about 3-4 yards of the football. And I think basically they think Luverne is not going to probably throw the ball, and they're taking advantage of it and walking their secondary up.
Okay, it looks like Taylor and Erik Gregory, the running backs. They've got a flanker back this time and a split end, split wide out to the left side, and the pitch back is to James Taylor, number 32. But Plainview reads him well, and he's going to get little or no gain. A good defensive play by the Plainview Bears, David.
Chip, Plainview's defensive end, number 22, just did an outstanding job. That's what you really teach your defensive ends to do, is turn the play in. And basically that was a quick pitch where the tight end hooks the the defensive end, basically, you know, he didn't allow that and came up hard. And I'm sorry, I think 22's playing corner, but very good run support by the corner then.
All right, 3rd and 7, a big possession play for the Luverne Tigers at their own 48-yard line. The handoff is to number 32, James Taylor, but he gets some good yardage, and he looks like he's going to pick up just enough for the first down. From the mark, from the vantage point we have up here, it looks like it'll be spotted about a yard past the first down marker, and it is first down. The referees have signaled. So a big offensive play and possession control play for the Luverne Tigers. 1st and 10 at the Plainview 43-yard line.
Chip, of course, I'm glad to see Luverne moving the ball, but even more, I'm glad to see that Plainview's on defense, because they certainly can't score if they don't have the ball. And right now, Luverne's doing a great job of controlling the clock, and they need to move on down and score.
All right, Gregory and Brown are the running backs, and he hands off this time to Antonio Brown, and he fights forward for a gain of about 4 to 5 yards. He's at the Bear, just inside the Bear 38-yard line. 2nd and 5 for Luverne. David, it looks like these Luverne running backs are tough, and they get a lot of yardage on their own after they've been touched by the players or tried to haul down by the Plainview defensive team. They pick up several more yards just on their own, on initiative at all. 2nd and 5, Luverne at the Plainview 38-yard line. The handoff to number 34, Antonio Brown, and he's picking up good yardage. They're having trouble bringing him down. He's a good, hard power runner, and he picked up real nice yardage for the Luverne Tigers taking it down to the Plainview 23-yard line. Both teams seem to have potent running attacks, David.
Chip, Luverne's running backs are very big and strong, and just then Brown was hitting the backfield by an initial tackler, but he broke the tackle and was able to get good yardage. So very strong and durable running backs for Luverne.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Tigers on the Plainview 23-yard line. This time the handoff is to number 32, James Taylor, and he's going to pick up about 5 yards on the carry.
Chip, Luverne at this point moving the ball very well. I noticed Plainview's changing up their defense somewhat. Basically been a 4-3 front team most of the first half, but now are going to some multiple type looks. Then I think they were in like a 6-1 look, but probably trying to change up their fronts for Luverne that has evidently found something or a specific place to attack.
All right, 2nd and 5 for the Tigers at the Plainview 18. They're deep in the Bear territory now. Gregory and Antonio Brown are your running backs. The handoff is to number 34, Antonio Brown, but he is hit in the backfield by the player that the Plainview coach Pruitt had talked about, number 75 for Plainview, and that's Heath Johnson. He plays both offense and defense for Plainview and made a good stop then on number 34, Antonio Brown. He's going to lose a couple of yards on that play, and it'll be 3rd and 7 for Luverne from the Plainview 20-yard line. They need a big first down here to keep possession, and as long as they're deep in this territory, they need to get some points. They bring in number 32, James Taylor. Staying in is number 9, Erik Gregory. Jace Morgan, number 7, a quarterback. He's back to pass. He's got an open receiver. Oh, and he had it in his hands, but he dropped it. That was number 22 for Luverne, Sean Lowry. It looked like he had it on a good pass play to him, David, but he didn't keep control of the ball.
Chip, I think we might see that pass play later on. That was appeared to be a very good throw by the quarterback, Morgan, and receiver had his hands on, just couldn't quite hold on. Be interesting to see what they do right here, Chip.
All right, it's 4th and 7 at the Plainview 20 for Luverne, and they're going to go for it. Gregory and Antonio Brown are your running backs. Number 7, Jace Morgan is the quarterback. Here's a snap, a fake to the halfback. Morgan on the keeper. He's trying to side a pitch, but he's going for it himself, and he gets the first down, David. A good option keeper by the quarterback for Luverne to pick up that first down on a 4th and 7 play.
Chip, very well executed play by the quarterback, Morgan. He appears to be shaking up a little bit. Let's hope not. But anyway, very well executed option play. He stretched it out. The defense basically had to choose between defending the quarterback or the pitch man. I think they thought Gregory might get the ball and basically went to him, and then Morgan cut it up for a very good play and a first down.
All right, first and goal to go for the Luverne Tigers at the Plainview Bear 5-yard line. This time they hand off to running backs, but the Plainview Bears stack him up on the line. Little or no gain for the Luverne Tigers.
Chip Morgan, quarterback Morgan, may be shaking up a little bit on that option play. Appears to be favoring his left shoulder a little bit. Let's hope he's going to be able to shake it off. That'd be a tremendous loss for Luverne if he were not able to go. But Luverne is moving the ball very well, and certainly if they can score right here and go in at the half tied or ahead, it would be a big confidence booster for them, especially after not being able to convert earlier in the half on when they were down in scoring territory. But again, not only is Luverne moving the ball well, but keeping the ball out of the hands of Plainview's offense is a big factor in this football game.
Okay, thank you, David. We're glad to have Coach David Helms of the Goshen Eagles with us tonight, Alan, adding our color commentation. It's a unique perspective having a head coach that knows a lot about the formations and the plays, and we're glad he joined us tonight. As you know, I usually do the Pike County football games. I'm the PA announcer on the home games, and I've done some cable vision announcing on the away games. But Harold Freeman has worked up an agreement tonight with Marshall Martin, who is in charge of the Luverne TV and cable. And this game will be shown on a delayed broadcast both in Troy and Brundage and in Luverne. We're going back to play action now. 2nd and 4 for the Tigers. 2nd and goal for the Tigers at the 4. Number 9, Erik Gregory, was in at quarterback then, and he kept the ball. He takes it around the right end and is going to get down till about at the 2-yard line. It's hard to exactly see from my perspective up here in the press box as to where they spot it when they're at the end of the field, but he looks to be on the 2-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and goal to go for the Tigers at the Plainview Bear 2-yard line. And they're bringing back in Jace Morgan, David, on this play at quarterback, and Erik Gregory comes out. The running backs are number 32, James Taylor, number 34, Antonio Brown. A handoff to number 32, James Taylor. He's close to the goal line. I don't think he's in, but he's mighty close. And it'll bring up a 4th down for the Luverne Tigers. And he's got to be spotted just outside the goal line. The PA announcer's calling it on the 1-yard line. So this is a mighty big play for Luverne here, David. I mean, he's a yard away from pay dirt and possibly tying up this football game.
Chip, I see number 9, Gregory, come back into the game. I think you'll probably see him get the ball or either be a decoy, but again, Luverne needs to score right here.
All right, 4th and about a yard to go for a touchdown for the Tigers. And it's number 9, Erik Gregory, leaning forward. Did he get in there? It looks like he's going to be stopped just short, David. I mean, inches short. He tried to lean his body over and cross the plane of the goal, but that Plainview defense wouldn't let him in there. A good, tough defensive stand by the Plainview Bears. And again, Luverne gets inside the 10-yard line, but is not able to get any points. But they've really been able to move the ball on this Plainview Bear defense, but so far no points, stopping them just outside the goal line. Plainview Bears take over on offense. The handoff is given to number 30, the halfback, Jeff White, on the carry.
Chip, Luverne, again, has got some big, powerful running backs, and as we thought, they gave it to Gregory on that play over left guard on the goal line on 4th and 1. Gregory's a hard, powerful runner, but just couldn't quite get in. Luverne needs to bow up right here and possibly get a turnover and still have a chance to score before the half.
All right, you're right. They've got Plainview backed up deep in their own territory. They're handing off again. No, the quarterback keeper. Number 12, the quarterback for Plainview, Jeremy Pruitt, on the keeper play. And he gets about out to the 5-yard line, but they still got a long way to go to get that first down. It's 3rd and about 7 for the Plainview Bears, deep in their own territory, ball spotted at the 5-yard line. It's 3rd down, so this is where Luverne defense needs to get real stingy and stop them from getting that first down, and then they'll have the ball in good field position if they can keep Plainview backed up like this.
Chip, I think you'll see them be very conservative right here. I don't think we'll see anything fancy.
Plainview running that wing key offense, and they give it to number 11, the halfback, Phillip Keith, but he doesn't get but less than a yard on the carry, maybe even back to the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up a 4th down and 6 for the Plainview Bears at their own 5-yard line, just outside their own 5-yard line. So definitely they're in a punting situation. Only 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in the first half of play.
Chip, Luverne may load up and try to block this one with only 1 minute and 5 to go. I noticed in warm-up, Plainview's got a very good punter, and with a good kick, you know, Luverne probably will start from close to midfield or maybe a little better. Hopefully, they can get a good run back. The only problem with that, if you go for the block, usually you don't have much blocking on a run back. So it'll be interesting to see what Luverne tries to do here, either return it or go for the block. Number 34 is back deep, and, you know, very capable runner, and you know, be interesting to see what Luverne does here.
Okay, it's only 1 minute and 5, like David mentioned, to go in a half, so they may really try to put pressure on that punter. The coach, Dale Pruitt, is out talking with his Plainview Bear team and going over several things. I know he doesn't want to turn over the ball here or even give it to Luverne in as good a, he wants to give it to him in as bad a field position as he can, and Luverne's trying to get it in as good a field position as they can because it's just over 1 minute left. Let's see, the punter for the Plainview Bears is number 22, Dennis Brown, and he's deep in the end zone, almost touching the back line of the end zone. And back to receive for Luverne is number 34, Antonio Brown, one of their running backs. He's standing on about the 38-yard line. And he gets the ball, and looks like he's going to kick it where it's angling out of bounds. No, it bounces back in. And the Plainview Bears have downed it on the 34-yard line. So Luverne will have good field position with just 57 seconds remaining in play. It's spotted on the 34-yard line by the referee.
Chip, Luverne all have several timeouts left, and like you said, with about 33 yards to go for a score, but they pretty much done what they wanted to do as far as control the ball and keep it away from Plainview's offense, but really need to get some points for the half. It'd be a big confidence booster going in at halftime.
Okay, the running backs for the Luverne Tigers are number 9, Erik Gregory. Oh, a screen pass out to number 32 is complete. That was a good play by the Luverne Tigers. That pass was complete from Jace Morgan, the quarterback, to number 33, Timmy Foster. And he picks up good yardage on that play on that screen pass from Morgan. I think that caught the Plainview Bears a little bit off guard. He's got it all the way down to the 18-yard line.
Chip, Luverne basically spread their offense out then with 2 split ends and 2 wing backs, so to speak. And that was a little spot pass, a little quick pass to the left split man, number 33, but very good gainer.
All right, Jace Morgan at quarterback for Luverne. Number 9, Erik Gregory, and number 34, Antonio Brown are the running backs. On the keeper, he pitches back to number 9, Erik Gregory, but he's not going to get much yardage. They tried to go wide to the right, and the quarterback Morgan held on to it until the last minute and pitched back to number 9, Erik Gregory, but Plainview read it very well, and they're going to stop him for less than a yard gain. The scoreboard is still showing it at 2nd and 10 for Luverne at the Plainview Bear 18-yard line, and a timeout for the Luverne Tigers.
Chip, basically an option play again, as Luverne ran a while ago and had a lot of success with. Defended it and basically defended Morgan and the pitchman Gregory. Luverne basically probably, I would guess, has maybe 1 timeout left, and you know, maybe he'll try one more play and then possibly a field goal. I think they would like to get on the board in some way before the half. So maybe try a big play here and then maybe possibly a field goal. We'll just have to see.
Okay, 2nd and 10 for the Luverne Tigers at the Plainview Bear 18-yard line. Jace Morgan is a quarterback. At the running backs, number 9, Erik Gregory, number 34, Antonio Brown. Split wide to the left is number 81 for Luverne, Levon Lowry. And it is going to be a pass play. He's going, and it's a touchdown. A touchdown pass to number 83 for Luverne. That's Kevin Trainum. From quarterback number 7, Jace Morgan, an 18-yard TD pass. He was wide open. He had beat the defender by 3 or 4 steps, and all Morgan had to do was loft it to him in the end zone for the Luverne touchdown with only 19 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Number 85 is Sean Penn in to attempt the extra point. Oh, the kick is up, and it is good. It was just inside the right upright, but it was good, and your score with 19 seconds remaining in the first half of play, the Luverne Tigers 7, the Plainview Bears 7. That was a good passing play by Luverne, David, on that play.
Chip, it really was. You know, from a defensive standpoint, with 24 seconds left to go in the half, you really do not give up the big play. And Plainview basically either underestimated Luverne's receiver or whatever, because he got behind the Plainview secondary, and just a great pass from Morgan with great protection. So this has to be a big confidence booster for Luverne, Chip, right here, right before the half.
Okay, kicking off for Luverne is number 42, Kenny Nelson. Deep to receive for the Plainview Bears is number 11, Phillip Keith. He takes the kickoff, brings it upfield, but he stopped on about the 27-yard line. A good tackle for Luverne made by number 31, Chad Turner. And Plainview will take over 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line with only 15 seconds remaining in the first half of play.
Chip, I would think right here we'd see a very conservative play. You know, possibly, well, they're going to let the clock run out. Yeah, they're not going to take a chance on trying a big play and maybe having Luverne intercept or something of that nature.
Okay, you're right, Coach David Helms. They are letting it run out, and that's the end of the first half of play. With your score, the Luverne Tigers 7, the Plainview Bears 7. And before we cut off here at halftime and listen to a few of the bands performing on the field, we'll try to summarize the first half of play. It looked like, David, that both teams moved the ball real well. Luverne was down there a couple of times and didn't score, but they held Plainview deep and were able to get that nice touchdown pass in to even things up at the halftime. But we can tell from the first half of action that Plainview does have a very potent offense. Like we mentioned, they're the leading point-producing offense in the state, scoring a total of 546 points. And you can see why running that wing T formation, because they've got excellent running backs and an excellent line. I think both teams here are very deserving of being in this state championship game, and it looks like we're in for a great second half of play here in this 3A state championship.
Chip, I think you're exactly right. I think, you know, we've seen a Plainview offense that is very potent and capable of scoring a lot of points, and I think Luverne's probably very fortunate to go in tied 7-7. Of course, I don't know the last time Plainview had the ball. I think Luverne kept the ball most of the second quarter, and their plan probably was the ball control and keep it away from Plainview's offense. But hopefully, you know, Luverne's going in with some confidence now that they were able to score, and I think to reiterate what you said, I think we'll see an exciting second half.
Okay, one thing we'd like to mention about Plainview, David, that we didn't get a chance in the pregame show, was that Plainview's closest game this year, the least margin of victory they won by, was 17-0. And nobody has really even played them close. The Susan Moore Bulldogs from Bluntsville, Alabama, in Blount County, lost to Plainview by a score of 17-0. And that was the closest that anybody played them. So they never have really been threatened all year, because if the closest game you have is 17 points, you hadn't really had to even come from a tie position in any kind of game, because nobody has been really able to play Plainview close. But Coach Pruitt said that he didn't think that any of the teams he had played so far this year had the stingy, good defense that Luverne has, especially as quick as they were and as aggressive. That was one of the things that was worrying him last night when we talked concerning this Luverne defense, and he said that he was almost positive this was the toughest team, especially on defense, that he had played all year. So it looks to be panning out, and we look like we're in for an exciting second half of action in this 3A state championship game.
Chip, I think you're exactly right on those comments. I think Plainview realized they can move the ball in Luverne, but really have not had the ball to do so. But they've got to be, concerned about only scoring 7 points in a half when they're normally used to scoring quite a bit more than that. So, they're probably mentally right now wondering, what they've got to do to score more points. But basically, they've been able to move the ball freely on Luverne, but a turnover early in the second quarter really has been the difference. The difference in Luverne able to capitalize on that turnover and then going down and being able to score. So I think Plainview, of course, will have to kick off in the second half to open the second half. But, if Luverne can generate some points in the second half and play good defense, certainly they've got a good chance to win this 3A state championship.
Okay, before we sign off here at second half, we would again like to thank Mr. Harold Freeman. I was calling him Coach early. I'd gotten used to calling Coach David Helms, but we'd like to thank Mr. Harold Freeman and Bogies over here tonight for bringing y'all this production here on Channel 52 and Troy Cablevision in conjunction with Mr. Marshall Martin with Luverne TV and Cable. And I don't know of any other cable system in the state of Alabama that'll bring you all these football games on this delayed basis other than Troy Cablevision. So whenever you see Mr. Freeman or Bogie or over here in Luverne, Mr. Marshall Martin, we want to thank them for providing us with this coverage. And this is an exciting game tonight, and we want y'all to stay tuned for the second half. So we'll sign off here for first half of action.
Because if you don't, we're going to draw another. They scored halftime. Portland 7, McKenzie 6.
Hey, I borrowed these.
The other number is 0. Start the second half. The Tigers will be receiving on the north end of the field. The Bears will be kicking at the 10 without it.
Quick first half, I think it was. It sure was. Real quick. Well, there wasn't any passing. There's only passes speaking. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting set for the second half of the action. Deadlocked here, 7-7 between the Plainview Bears and the Luverne Tigers, playing for the 1991 Class 3A Alabama High School Athletic Association State Championship. We're deadlocked like we were at the beginning of the game. The only thing different, each team has scored one touchdown. Plainview will be kicking off to begin the second half of play, and the Luverne Tigers will be receiving the kickoff. Deep for Luverne is number 9, Erik Gregory. Number 32 is James Taylor. Number 23 is one of the upbacks. That's Dana Brandon. And number 10, Boot Bodiford. Kicking off for Plainview is number 11, Phillip Keith.
Chip, Luverne looks fired up this second half. I think they realize that they've got a good chance of winning this football game.
All right, number 9, Erik Gregory with the kickoff. And he gets good yardage, almost up to midfield. It looks like he's run out of bounds at about the 49-yard line, Luverne's 49-yard line. So they'll start with good field position, David. What do you think will be some of the key turning factors in this second half, swinging the game one way or the other?
Chip, I think we're going to have to see Luverne control the football on offense, you know, make first downs and certainly, you know, score if they can, but mainly control the football and carry it down and get some points out of it. You know, keep this Plainview defense on the field and keep the ball away from the Plainview offense. I think that's going to be a big key, and certainly, you know, not turn the ball over and just basically control the clock.
That was a rough penalty call there against Luverne Tigers. I mean, a costly penalty. It was clipping against Luverne, and instead of being at the 49-yard line, it backs them way up at their own 18. So that was a costly penalty. If they hope to win this game, they can't have very many penalties like that, because Plainview will certainly take advantage of them. Luverne in the split back veer formation with number 34, Antonio Brown, on the handoff. He picks up about 5 yards on the carry. These Luverne running backs, so, are good power runners, and they get a lot of yardage on their own after they've been touched or tried to be hand tackled, and they pick up 3 or 4 more yards just by pure power running, David.
Chip, it'll really fool you. You know, they appear to get 2-3 yards, and in fact got 5 or 6. So good hard power runners, and really not going to be tackled by one player. They're going to have to gang tackle these Luverne running backs to get them down.
All right, he picks up 5 yards on the play. 2nd and 5 for Luverne. Gregory and Antonio Brown are your running backs. Jace Morgan is the quarterback. Split out right to the right is number 22. And let's see, he sacks the quarterback. Number 47 for Plainview on the quarterback sack. He's not listed on our roster, David. We don't have a player number 47 on our roster. So we'll just have to say that 47 made the sack.
Yeah.
He loses 12 yards on the play, so it's 3rd and 17. An excellent defensive play by the Plainview Bears on the quarterback sack. Looks like Luverne would have to be in a passing situation deep in their own territory with a 3rd and 15 to go. But it's a handoff to number 34, Antonio Brown, and he doesn't pick up but 3 or 4 yards, David. They've got them backed up deep in their own territory, and Luverne will have to punt, and Plainview will probably get excellent field position. The penalty was costly, and the quarterback sack was very costly on Luverne.
Chip, it really was. The pass play in which Morgan took the sack was very costly, but again, you know, a heads-up play. He didn't force the throw, and now Luverne's got a punt, but you know, they can play tough defense and hold Plainview. They'll be in good shape.
Set the punt for Luverne Tigers is number 42, Kenny Nelson. He gets off the punt, and the punt is received by number 22 for the Plainview Bears. That's Dennis Brown, and he takes it down to about the Luverne 38-yard line, where Plainview will take over 1st and 10 at the Luverne 38. So they've got excellent field position to begin their first drive in the second half of play, David.
Chip, you really you don't want to give Plainview, a team like Plainview, the football in this kind of territory. You know, they're very dangerous and capable of moving it in. But again, Luverne, the costly penalty has been the difference so far.
All right, 1st and 10 for Plainview. Whoop, they try to reverse, and they fumble the ball. The quarterback, Pruitt, handed off to number 11, and Luverne has recovered the fumble. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line. So a big turnover there for Luverne to get a lot better field position than what they were faced with on their first offensive drive.
Chip, it's been very interesting. Both teams came out and tried big plays. Luverne on 2nd down tried a big pass play, and now we see Plainview on 1st down try a reverse. So I think both teams are trying to strike and strike early.
Okay, 1st and 10 for Luverne Tigers at their own 46-yard line, and the handoff is to number 9, Erik Gregory. He's getting good yardage, and he breaks through a couple of tackles, and I believe he's going to go all the way, David. Touchdown, Luverne Tigers. A 54-yard run by one of the backs, number 9, Erik Gregory, and he broke through a couple of tackles, David, to make that long touchdown run.
Chip, that was an excellent run by Gregory. As we've talked about the whole first half, you know, he's a hard runner. He breaks a lot of tackles, and on that particular play, he broke 3 or 4 tackles, and of course showed his speed down the sideline. So very big break for Luverne.
Number 85, Sean Penn, in to tip the extra point, and it's good. So your score with 8:38 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. The Luverne Tigers 14, the Plainview Bears 7, and a big 54-yard run by number 9, Erik Gregory, for the Luverne Tigers after they recovered that fumble. So you see the turnovers are going to make a big difference in this game, and Luverne very wisely capitalizing on the turnover on the first play from scrimmage. A big set of downs for Luverne and getting that in for the touchdown.
Chip, you had to think that sooner or later one of the Luverne running backs would break a long run. They're just tremendously strong and hard-running type backs, and you know, Gregory did a great job on that long run, and of course this puts a new perspective on the game.
Number 42, Kenny Nelson, kicking off for Luverne. Receiving the kickoff is number 12 for the Plainview Bears, Jeremy Pruitt, and he takes it up to the 30-yard line where he's tackled, and it will be 1st and 10 for Plainview at their own 30-yard line. So I believe the momentum now has swung in Luverne's favor after that big 54-yard run for a touchdown by number 9, Erik Gregory. Now we'll go back to that wing T formation that Plainview has made work so successful for them this year, and see if they can move the ball on this Luverne defense. 1st and 10, and the handoff is to the halfback, number 30, Jeff White. Little or no yardage gain. He looked like he might have picked up 1 yard. We'll see where they spot it. Good defense by the Luverne Tigers, and they are giving him 1 yard. 2nd and 9 for the Plainview Bears at their own 31-yard line.
Chip, It's interesting that Plainview's probably never been in this situation before, behind like they are now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do on this drive.
Oh, a bad snap. It looked like the quarterback had trouble handling the ball, and Luverne comes up with it. And it is. He fumbled a snap, and Luverne has recovered the bad snap from the Plainview Bears, and they'll take over with excellent field position down at the Plainview 22-yard line. Another big turnover and a fumble recovery for the Luverne Tigers, David. This could really swing the momentum of a tight contest.
Chip, as we noticed coming out in the second half, Luverne's very fired up and has come out and turned this game around, basically have control of it now and the momentum. And Plainview seems to be playing a little tight and, of course, making some costly mistakes.
All right, one back now in the backfield. It's number 34, Antonio Brown. They got a flanker split wide to left, and it's that other screen pass they used earlier to number 33 for the Luverne Tigers, and he picks up good yardage. That's Timmy Foster on the screen pass, and he's picked up enough for another Luverne first down, David. That was an excellent offensive play by the Luverne Tigers.
Chip, same play they used in the first half and to the same young man, number 33, and gained good yardage first half and did so then. Luverne, it's interesting to see they're coming out. They went two wide outs in and one back set, and they're not going to get conservative on us. They're going to try to punch this one in. And I tell you this, if they could score right here, it very well might be too much for Plainview to overcome.
Okay, they're on the Plainview 15-yard line with a first down and 10. The handoff is to number 34, Antonio Brown, and he breaks the tackle just past the line of scrimmage and goes in for a touchdown. A 15-yard carry by number 34, Antonio Brown for the Luverne Tigers. Another quick score when they capitalize on the fumble recovery for the Luverne Tigers, and this is really waking up the Luverne crowd. You can hear from the mics that they're getting excited, and well as they should be in this state championship game as the Tigers are trying to win one for head coach Glenn Daniels. Number 85, Sean Penn, kicks the extra point, and it is good. So your score was 6:49 still to play in the third quarter. The Luverne Tigers 21, the Plainview Bears 7.
Chip, Luverne coming out and opening up their offense some, and quick pass play to number 33, gained a lot of yards, and then they came back on the next play with the same set, a wide open set, and ran a quick trap to Brown up the middle, and basically are, just spreading Plainview out and utilizing their speed and quickness on offense. Of course, this game is turned around completely. I think Luverne, like you said, has the momentum. It'd be interesting to see what Plainview can do on offense at this point.
Okay, number 42 kicking off for the Luverne Tigers. That is Kenny Nelson. Deep to receive the kickoff is number 12, Jeremy Pruitt, the quarterback. He gets it, but he's hit hard by the Luverne Tigers. After only a short gain, they're going to spot the ball on the Plainview 24-yard line where the Bears will take over. First and 10 to go, but they're still deep in their own territory, and Luverne has capitalized here in the third quarter on 2 fumble recoveries and scored points on them to get this 14-point lead on Plainview. Plainview has never been behind by this big of a margin in any game this year, so they'll have to learn what it means to play come from behind football, and that's sometimes not an easy thing to do if you've never done it before, but we know they've got the powerful offense to do it. The handoff is to number 30, the halfback for the Plainview Bears, Jeff White. He'll pick up about 3 yards on the play, or 4 yards they're giving him. 2nd and 6 for the Plainview Bears.
Chip, Luverne playing with a lot of motion right now. Certainly they're loose and got a lead, and they're playing with a lot of motion. And, Plainview just needs to get back to their regular offense and not try to get too much too quick. And if they do that, they can still be in this ball game.
Okay, the Plainview Bears in that wing T formation. They hand it off to one of the running backs, but he doesn't get very little yardage on that carry. The Luverne defense is really getting stingy here, not letting them get very much. That was number 11, their leading ground gainer, Phillip Keith, who has over 1,500 total yards rushing this year. He's going to pick out about 1 yard is all he'll get, David. It'll be 3rd and 5. If the Luverne can hold them here, they'll again have excellent field position.
Chip, Luverne doing a much better job of defending the misdirection plays this half.
Okay, Plainview's utilizing a flanker. They're splitting him wide out, and he's in motion, but he gets back for the pass. Pruitt set the pass. Oh, he had his receiver, but he couldn't hold on to it. It was incomplete. It was intended for number 40, the split end, David McLaughlin. A good pass by Pruitt, the quarterback for the Plainview Bears, but it was just off the fingertips of number 40, McLaughlin, for the Plainview Bears, and they'll be forced to punt pretty deep in their own territory. Deep for the Luverne Tigers to receive the punt is number 34, Antonio Brown.
Chip, we may see Plainview open up a little bit when they're on offense again and try to throw the football a little more. Their quarterback, Pruitt, has 15 touchdown passes this year and very capable of throwing the football. We may see him do that next series.
Number 22, Dennis Brown, the punter, and he gets off a good punt, an excellent punt. It's going to bounce and roll back. Antonio Brown touches it about the 19-yard line. He comes up, and they try to tackle him, but he just steps through the tackle. He's still going, fighting for yardage, still fighting for yardage, and he gets it up to the 34-yard line. They appeared to have him stop back around the 20, but he broke through several tackles and gets it up to the 34-yard line of the Luverne Tigers. A good kickoff return by number 34, Antonio Brown.
Chip, Plainview seems to be a little winded at this point. There, again, we've talked about not being used to being in this situation, but Luverne is playing with such emotion right now and very fired up football. It'd be interesting to see what they can do on this series.
Okay, Luverne in that split back veer formation. Number 32, James Taylor, and a new running back in for him is number 10, Boot Boterford. And it's James Taylor on the option carry, and he's up to about the 42-yard line. He's picked up 7 yards, 2nd and 3 for the Luverne Tigers at their own 42-yard line, and they're using a new running back in there. It's number 32. Well, Taylor had been in there, but the new running back was number 10, Boot Boterford. Boterford's still in the backfield along with James Taylor, so they've got a host of running backs they're using, David, and Reston, Gregory, and Antonio Brown, and this time it is Boot Boterford on the carry, and he fights for looks like about 3 yards. He's going to be close to the first down. It's according to where they spot it. No, they're spotting it a little bit short. They might have to call timeout for a measurement because it's going to only be a few inches short. They're not going to take the timeout for the measurement. No, they can tell by the spot where the markers are that it's not a first down, so it's 3rd and just inches to go for the Luverne Tigers, just inside their own 45-yard line. Gregory's back in at halfback, along with number 32, James Taylor, and Gregory takes it right up the middle. And if he could have broke one more tackle, he would have been gone all the way, David, because he broke through. They were trying to tackle him along his ankles, and he just pulled through them and gets the first down easily and moves it down to the Plainview 47-yard line. So definitely the momentum has swung in Luverne's favor, and we're going to have to take a timeout here. Plainview calls the timeout.
Chip, Gregory, tremendous lower body strength and broke several tackles and made another good run. Right now, Chip, I think Luverne's offensive line is just coming off the ball and making a lot of holes for the running backs. They basically just taking over this football game. At this time, Chip, I'd like to make a public service message announcement provided by the Alabama High School Athletics Association. It states, we believe that athletics and academics go hand in hand. The Bryant Jordan Student Athlete Program supports this concept and awards over $70,000 to 96 student athletes each year. Ask your principal, guidance counselor, or coach about it. Again, a public service message by the Alabama High School Athletics Association.
Okay, thank you, David. Luverne's now moving it into Plainview Bear territory at the Bear 47-yard line. And if Plainview wants to stay in this game, they're going to have to get stingy on defense to keep Luverne from scoring again, because they could open it wide open with another score here late in the 3rd quarter of play. 3:24 remaining in the 3rd quarter of action here in this 3A state championship game from Glenn Daniel Stadium in Luverne. Jace Morgan is your quarterback, and he gets the handoff. No, he's on the keeper, and he's pitching back to number 32, and 32, James Taylor, fumbles the ball, but alertly the quarterback, number 7, Jace Morgan, falls on it, and Luverne keeps possession. They'll actually gain about a yard. but that was not a very good pitch back as far as Taylor handling the ball, and that could have been costly if he'd have dropped it there and not been able to recover it by the quarterback.
Chip, Plainview right now is taking some chances on defense. They're putting 8 men on the football at times and stunting some linebackers. They're trying to create some turnovers and basically try to get the ball back from Luverne.
Okay, a single setback this time for Luverne. It's number 32, James Taylor, and he picks up about 2 yards on the play. It's going to bring up about a 3rd and 7 for Luverne. They really didn't get much yardage there. The Plainview Bear defensive line got contact on him and slowed him down enough for linebackers to come in and stop him for just about a 2-yard gain. So it's 3rd and 7 for Luverne, just inside the Plainview Bear 45-yard line.
Chip, that was a play similar to what they scored on a while ago. It was a spread offensive set and a quick trap up the middle, but Plainview defended it very well that time.
Okay, Gregory and number 32, James Taylor, your running backs. Jace Morgan at the quarterback position. He's going back to pass, and he gets it complete to number 33 again for the Luverne Tigers. That's Timmy Foster on a good pass. David, Luverne doesn't pass much, but when they have, it's been very effective and picked up good yardage for the Luverne Tigers. Eagles going to be down there at the 17-yard line of the Plainview Bears. A good gain for Luverne on that pass completion.
Chip, excellent pass play from Morgan to number 33, and very good protection by the Luverne offensive line. Chip, I'm very impressed with Luverne's offensive plan this second half. They're really not being conservative. They're taking it right to Plainview and creating the big plays.
Okay, 1st and 10 for the Tigers at the Plainview 17-yard line. The handoff is to number 34, Antonio Brown. He looks like 3 or 4 yards on the carry. These Luverne running backs are good power backs running out of that split veer back formation, and they seem to be picking up good yardage, especially here in the second half. They picked up good yardage in the first half also, but they weren't able to capitalize twice when they were down inside the Plainview 20-yard line. But here in the second half, they're not missing any chances on the 2 fumble recoveries they've scored, and they pinned Plainview deep on their possession, and they're back striking again, trying to get it into the end zone. Boot Bodderford is one of the setbacks, but he hands off this time to number 34, Antonio Brown, and he doesn't get much yardage. It's going to bring up another 3rd down play, and David, will be interesting to see if they go for a pass or try to run on this play for Luverne.
Chip, they're bringing in number 9, Gregory. I would think maybe spread them out and a quick trap up the middle again. It worked so effectively a while ago. But, Chip, right now, Luverne's offensive line is really controlling the line of scrimmage and just doing an excellent job of coming off the football. Luverne is in an unbalanced set to the right, Chip. They may try to run that way.
Okay, 3rd and 6 at the Plainview 13-yard line. The handoff, you're right, David, was to Gregory. He stumbles around, and that gives him enough time to get to it. And number 12, Jeremy Pruitt. The free safety came up, and he wasn't really defending against the pass because he figured it was going to be a run like you mentioned, and he stops him at about the 12-yard line. He's not going to gain but about a yard, and it's going to be 4th and 6, and that ends the 3rd quarter of play with your score. The Luverne Tigers 21, the Plainview Bears 7. 1 quarter of action left to go in this 3A state championship for 1991, being brought to you by Troy Cablevision down here in Luverne at Glenn Daniel Stadium. We've had an exciting game so far, and here in the 3rd quarter, Luverne has taken advantage of the 2 fumble recoveries and scored 2 quick touchdowns to build this 14-point lead on the Plainview Bears. And like we mentioned earlier, Plainview has never trailed by 14 points in any of their contests this game, regular season or playoff. Now it looks like David Luverne's getting set to try a field goal on this because that would give them more than a 2-touchdown lead with the additional 3 points.
Chip, I think you're right. Luverne has got a very good field goal team, and I think they're going to go on and try to get to 3 here. Chip, an interesting point. Luverne has had a lot of formations the first half and second half, and the last 2 plays have been unbalanced sets to the right, and they ran a quick dive to their right to play before last, and they got Plainview shifting to their formation and then tried a quick pitch with Gregory back to the weak side. So they're toying with them a little bit on offense, using various formations and trying to get Plainview maybe confused. So we'll see if he hits his field goal.
number 85, Sean Penn, in to attempt a field goal, but it's way short. He didn't get it really high enough. I don't think anybody blocked it. He just didn't get up under it well enough. It was a 29-yard field goal attempt from over at the left hash mark here facing the north end zone, and he didn't really get up under it enough, David, and get enough height on it to get it anywhere near the field goal.
Chip, you know, in order to have a good field goal, you've got to have a good snap, a good hold, and, of course, a good kicker. And I don't think the snap was there, and the hole was kind of mishandled also. So really don't think the kicker had much of a chance of making it. But it's, they missed a prime scoring opportunity on that particular drive.
Okay, Plainview takes over 1st and 10 at their own 20. Quarterback keeper, and he pitches out at the last minute to number 22. And that is for the Plainview Tigers. Number 22 is Dennis Brown. And he's going to actually lose about 3 yards on the carry. The Luverne defense read that one well and didn't give the Plainview running back any room to gain any yardage.
Chip, Plainview's trying to get on the corners and create a big play as they tried to do with the option then.
All right, 2nd and 13 for the Plainview Bears, back at their own 17. Jeremy Pruitt set to pass. He gets it away, and it's intercepted by number 34, Antonio Brown, and he falls down in high school. Unlike pros, when your knee touches, you're down. Antonio Brown made the good interception, and his knee touches at the Plainview Bear 27-yard line, so another big turnover for Luverne. They're really taking control of this state championship game, and Plainview was trying to open it up a little bit there on the passing.
Chip, turnovers has definitely played a big part, as it will in any game, but Luverne being able to capitalize second half on Plainview's turnovers has really been the key. And of course, here's another big turnover here. Hopefully they can get some points out of this particular one. Of course, Luverne now is calling a timeout, so they're probably going to think about it and talk it over and make sure they have the correct personnel in the game. But Chip, Plainview is, you know, basically going to probably have to open up their offense a little bit. Maybe go back to what they did in the first half. There's still plenty of time left, but certainly have to score pretty quick here, or Luverne with their ball control offense is going to eat the clock up and of course keep it away from their offense. At this time, I'd like to make another public service message announcement provided to us by the Alabama High School Athletics Association. It states the roots of good sportsmanship are best traced from one simple word, and that is respect. Respect for an opponent, spectators, coaches, and game officials. Display good sportsmanship the next time you attend an athletic event. Good sports are winners. Again, this is provided by the Alabama Athletic Association, a public service message. Chip.
Okay, after the Luverne timeout, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers. After the big interception play by Antonio Brown, they're at the Plainview 27-yard line. Number 32, James Taylor, number 10, Boot Boterford, the running backs. And the handoff goes to number 10, Boot Boterford. He'll pick up about 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Luverne Tigers at the Plainview Bear 25-yard line. Now, if Plainview hopes to stay in this game, they better prevent Luverne from getting any more points, because it's only 11 minutes to go in the 4th quarter play. So this is a big series of down for Luverne. If they can get a score, it'll be extremely hard for the Plainview Bears to get back in this game.
Chip, number 9, Gregory's back in the game. Look for him to might get it on a quick pitch of some sort and get him in the open field.
Okay, the pitch back, and it looks like a halfback option pass. Number 34, Antonio Brown, is throwing a pass, and it's intercepted by the free safety, number 12, Jeremy Pruitt. So Luverne gives it right back to him, right back to the Plainview Bears, and the ball will be spotted at the 4-yard line. So Plainview will get another chance here. They threw the interception, and Luverne throws another one right back to them. So Plainview gets the turnover and will take over 1st and 10, but they're deep in their own territory at the 4-yard line. That would be a 96-yard drive if they're to take it all the way in and get back within a touchdown of the Luverne Tigers. Number 30, Jeff White, the halfback on the carry, but he doesn't get but about a yard. David, it's going to be hard for the Plainview Bears to get much right up the middle there, the way that the Luverne defense is playing.
Chip, you're exactly right. You know, they're backed up to their own goal line. It's going to be tough to get out of the hole. Certainly they like to get a first down, loosen up a little bit where they can open up a little bit. It's hard to throw from this area of the field, but Luverne playing very aggressive right now.
Okay, 2nd and 9 for the Plainview Bears at their own 5. And the handoff goes to number 11, and he's got good yardage on this carry. That was a big running back, number 11, Phillip Keith, who's their leading ground gainer, and he really brought them out of that deep territory there, carrying it all the way up to the 28-yard line. That was a 23-yard gain for the Plainview Bears on a 2nd and 9 play. A big offensive play for Plainview, and now they're out of the shadow of their own end zone, and they've got some operating room, David. 1st and 10 Plainview. The handoff goes again to Phillip Keith, but he's not going to get anything this time. Maybe a yard at best. I don't believe he'll even have that. The Luverne Tiger defense read the play well. The linebackers were converging in on him, and he was not able to get any yardage, maybe a half a yard. They're still calling it 2nd and 10 on the scoreboard for the Plainview Bears.
Chip, basically the same identical play they just ran. And again, Plainview is spreading them out a little bit with one back set, 2 wing backs, and faking to the fullback and handed it to the halfback on the misdirection play. Okay, this time the quarterback option. He fakes, does the pass, gets around, intercepted almost, but knocked down by number 34, Antonio Brown. And he didn't really have enough time. They were pressuring him, so I'm talking about the Luverne defense, that the quarterback, Jeremy Pruitt, had to rush to get that away, and he threw it way under through the receiver he was trying to hit, David. Chip, Plainview, their offensive receivers, their routes, you know, the quarterback's got a good arm, and they appear to be on target. Luverne's secondary is so quick. They're breaking on the ball, and you know, almost had an interception there. All right, 3rd and 10 for the Plainview Bears on their own 28-yard line. Quarterback keeper, and he hands off. And that's Phillip Keith, their leading ground gainer. But the Luverne Tiger defense, again, reads it well, and he's only going to pick up a couple of yards. So it's 4th and 8 for the Plainview Bears at their own 30-yard line. They'll be forced into a punting situation. Going deep for the Luverne Tigers is number 34, Antonio Brown. In the punt for the Plainview Bears is number 22, Dennis Brown. Chip, I don't know if they'd kick it here or not. You might watch for a fake. I'm not, you know, certain coaches do different things in this situation. No, they're going to kick it. Okay, Dennis Brown gets off the punt for the Plainview Bears, and he angles it out of bounds up into the stands. So we'll see where the officials mark it. It's going to be on the 48-yard line, the Luverne 48-yard line, and Luverne will take over with a 1st and 10 in excellent field position, just a couple of yards shy of being in the Plainview Bear territory. Only 7:55 remaining in this state championship game, and Luverne appears to have seized control and the momentum here in the mid portion of the 4th quarter of play. Chip, I think you're exactly right. Luverne seems to be getting stronger, and Plainview seems to be tiring somewhat. I think Luverne's offensive line has had a lot to do with that, coming off the ball, and them, of course, being able to control the ball. But I think right here you'll see them just try to run the clock and get first downs. Okay, Luverne with the 2 backs in the split veer back formation, and number 9, Erik Gregory. He bounces off one player and then picks up a couple of more yards. Again, he's getting a lot of this yardage after they've tried to tackle him, and he picked up about 4 yards on the play. They're calling it 2nd and 6. Correction, 5 yards on the carry, and he's in the Plainview territory at the Bear 47-yard line. 2nd and 5 for the Luverne Tigers. Chip, you can't say enough about number 9, Gregory. He's ran hard all the game and continues to get yards after the initial lick on him. He's a very tough runner. Okay, Gregory and James Taylor, the running backs, and they give it again to Gregory. And then, like you said, Luverne's keeping it on the ground, and he's going to pick up about 3 to 4 more yards. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 3 for the Luverne Tigers at about the Plainview 43-yard line.
3rd and 2. The PA announcer is calling it for the Luverne Tigers. If they get the first down here, they're running clock, they're keeping control of the ball, and they're driving it again deep into Plainview Bear territory. 3rd and a little more than 2 for the Luverne Tigers. Your running backs Antonio Brown and number 10, Boot Bodiford. Here's the snap, the handoff to number 34, Antonio Brown. Oh, he drops the ball, but he alertly falls back on it. One of the Plainview players just snipped him a little bit, and he dropped the ball, but alertly he falls back on it, and Luverne keeps possession, but they do not get the first down. Really no gain on the play. 4th down and about 2 for the Luverne Tigers. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. I'm pretty sure they'll punt, though, with a 14-point lead and just over 6 minutes to go in the game.
Chip, really, they don't have much choice here other than they may try to draw Plainview off sides. You know, they may have a play in their playbook or may try to get them to jump, and if they do so, you know, another first down or 2 and this game will be over. But I think you're right. I think Luverne will kick.
Number 42, Kenny Nelson in the punt. And the snap goes over his head. But Plainview didn't have a very big rush, and he's able to pick it up and get off a good punt. But Jeremy Pruitt is back to receive the punt, and Luverne bottles him up. A good play by the punter for the Luverne Tigers. He had it back there, but Plainview did not have on a big rush, David, and he picked the ball up after it sailed over his head and got off an excellent punt. A big play by the punter for the Luverne Tigers. That was number 42, Kenny Nelson, making a good play and getting the punt off for Luverne.
Chip, the second half seems to be going Luverne's way. The turnovers have failed their way, and then, of course, that was an excellent opportunity for Plainview to get back in this ball game on the snap over his head. But, again, the punter made a heads-up play.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Plainview Bears, backed up at their own 17. Here's a pass out to the split end, number 84 for Plainview. That's Anthony Smith, but he gets very little yardage. Well, a little better than we thought. It looks like a gain of about 4 yards. It's going to bring up a second and 6 for the Plainview Bears at their own 21-yard line. But time now becomes a factor as it's 4 minutes and just over 40 seconds to go in this ball game. Luverne holding the 14-point edge. Plainview backed up deep in their territory, but they do have the ball, trying to get some kind of momentum headed their way. Again in the wing T formation, one of the flankers is moving out. Quarterback here, he's going back to pass, looking for a receiver, and he hits number 88 on the pass. That's Tim Pope, the split end, or one of the split ends for the Plainview Bears, and he does pick up the first down. If Plainview hopes to get back into this game, David, they've got to pick up yardage here with little time to do it in.
Chip, you're right. They're going to have to score quick and maybe even pull a trick out of the hat or something. They need to score real quick if they're going to get back in this game.
Okay, 1st and 10 for the Plainview Bears at their own 31-yard line. And again, the pass play, it is complete to number 22 out at the sidelines for the Plainview Bears. That's Dennis Brown, and he gets out of bounds, David, to stop the clock.
Chip, basically Plainview's running the out routes so they can either get one-on-one coverage and possibly break one, or either, like you said, get out of bounds and stop the clock. Look for them to come in a minute, Chip, maybe with a down out and then turn it up and go down the field, maybe quarterback pump, because Luverne's pretty much one-on-one coverage, and they may try that play here in a minute.
Okay, he picked up 6 yards on the play. 2nd down and 4 for the Plainview Bears at their own 37-yard line. One of the Luverne players jumped, but was he drawn offsides? We'll have to wait and see. It was 2nd and 4, and if he was offsides and he was not drawn, it will be a first down for Plainview. But if he was drawn offsides, the penalty is offsides against Luverne, so that'll give Plainview the first down with no clock running. So that helps them in their favor and gives them the first down with more room to operate at their 42-yard line, and Luverne's going to take a timeout. Again, we'd like to thank Mr. Harold Freeman and Mr. Bogey Freeman for bringing this production here tonight over at Glenn Daniel Stadium in Luverne. This Class 3A 1991 state championship game between the Luverne Tigers and the Plainview Bears. And be sure to stay tuned and watch it on Channel 52 in Troy at Troy Cablevision on the delayed broadcast immediately after this game is over. And also here in Luverne at the Luverne TV and cable system, it will be shown on a delayed broadcast. And I don't know where else you can watch games and other teams such as the Pike County Bulldogs and the Charles Henderson Trojans and the Goshen Eagles and the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots and even the championship game with the Luverne Tigers on anywhere else but Channel 52 and Troy Cablevision. I know of no other stations that give this good coverage of high school football. So we want to thank everyone for bringing this production in Channel 52, and for David Helms coming over here, the head coach of the Goshen Eagles. He's been able to add a lot of insight into tonight's game and giving us thoughts that we'd never thought of with being commentators and all that we'd only get from a head coach, because he's familiar with a lot of these plays they're running, and like we mentioned, he's seen Luverne on film a lot of times and really knows the terminology and the football talk behind the plays, and we're glad he could come over tonight.
Chip, Coach Daniels is coming off the field. I feel like he's probably told his team to, you know, don't give up the big play and play loose defense, and you know, if they catch it, tackle them underneath. Here we got a flag. Well, we got a flag, but basically, Chip, probably at this point, Luverne's going to loosen up their defense a little bit. They may give the underneath pass completion, or you know, a draw or something. They may give up for short yardage, but basically at this point, they're going to loosen up and not give Plainview anything deep. Maybe any type of double pass, or they're going to be ready for any trick play of any kind, and certainly Plainview's got to score quick if they want to stay in this football game. So Luverne's loosening up a little bit on defense.
All right, that was a delay of game against the Plainview Bears, so it makes it 1st and 15. He's back to pass. He's under pressure, but he gets it off to number 11, Phillip Keith. And Keith is breaking through some tackles, and he gets up close to the first down. It looks like he's going to be about a half a yard short, but the quarterback, Jeremy Pruitt, was under extreme pressure, but he found his halfback, number 11, Phillip Keith, and he got 14 yards on the play, and that was good yardage. It looks like one of the Plainview players is injured. That's Keith, the one that received that pass.
Chip, I think Keith's number 11 is maybe having some cramp problems. Like we said earlier, I think Plainview's wearing a little bit, and again, you know, it'll be interesting to see right here if Plainview can indeed somehow get this ball in the end zone and make a game of it. But again, Luverne is playing a loose defense, and they're not going to give them anything big.
Okay, Plainview got it just over the midfield stripe into Luverne territory with a 1st down and 10. It's a pass, and it's complete. Incomplete. He had it but dropped it. That was number 84, Anthony Smith, on the pass reception, but then he didn't have control of it and dropped it. It's going to be 3rd down. The scoreboard was showing 1st, but he was still about a half a yard shy on that carry, so it looks like it's going to be 3rd and about a half a yard to go for the Plainview Bears, because he didn't have enough for the 1st down on that pass completion that worked earlier.
Chip, Plainview really needs to get the 1st down here so they can have a new set of downs. I don't know if they'll try to throw it or what, but Luverne really needs to hold them right here.
Okay, 3rd and less than a yard to go, and they do give off to Keith, the big halfback. Correction, that was 30 to fullback, Jeff White, and he gets enough for the 1st down. Gets it to the 47-yard line of the Luverne Tigers, but again, time is the enemy of the Plainview Bears, as there's 3:32 remaining in this state championship 3A 1991 game, and the clock is still running. 1st and 10, though, for the Plainview Bears at the Luverne 47. Jeremy Pruitt back to pass, but pressure's applied. He gets it off, incomplete. There wasn't a receiver real close to it, but there was one within 10 yards, so you can't call it intentional grounding, and it was heavy pressure applied by that Luverne Tiger defense.
Chip, Plainview's basically going to a spread offense, utilizing about 3 receivers. Of course, trying to get a big play going. Luverne, again, is countering with a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And of course, the best pass defense is a good pass rush. So Luverne may even stun a linebacker here, Chip, and get added pressure.
Second and 10 for the Plainview Bears at the Luverne 47-yard line. Jeremy Pruitt back to pass. Pressure's put on him. Number 30 is Jeff White, and he doesn't get near back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, that screen pass is going to lose about 4 or 5 yards on the play. 3rd down and 14 for the Plainview Bears back in their own territory at their 49-yard line. Clock running, 2 minutes and just over 50 seconds. 21-7, Luverne is leading the Plainview Bears. Pruitt back to pass, and it's complete to number 40. He shrugs off one tackle and goes out of bounds. Tackled by the Luverne Tigers after just a short gain on the play. That was number 40 on the reception, David McLaughlin. The ball is spotted a yard short of the original line of scrimmage, so that makes it 4th and 11. Plainview has no choice but to go for it.
Chip, really we've not seen Pruitt throw the ball down the field here the last couple of minutes.
Timeout. Excuse me, David. Timeout for the Plainview Bears.
Chip, at this time, let me make another public service message announcement provided to us by the Alabama High School Athletics Association. It states, this is a fact, athletes do their best on the field when they do not take drugs, and you too can do your best. Stay away from drugs and drug users. Remember, always be your best. Stay drug-free. Again, Chip, this message provided to us by the Alabama High School Athletics Association.
Okay, David, Plainview's got to do something here to get a score. It's only 2:40 remaining, and they trail by 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. And they're just inside the Luverne territory at the 48-yard line of the Tigers, a long way from the end zone and 2 touchdowns away from tying it up with only 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Luverne's defense will play a little slack here, give them a little bit, but probably not enough for the first down or trying to prevent them from getting the first down. It's 4th and 11, and Plainview has no choice but to go for it. They've got a split in out here wide to the left side, 2 backs in the backfield, but Jeremy Pruitt's back to pass. He gets it off, and it's complete to number 22, just over the hands of the Luverne Tiger defensive backs. A good pass play for the first down, and it keeps Plainview alive. That pass was complete to number 22, Dennis Brown, picking up good yardage and enough for the first down, David. That keeps them alive in the game.
Chip, very good pass completion. Luverne's cornerback broke on the ball and came inches from intercepting it, but a good reception and a good catch. Plainview, again, the clock's running and they're running out of time, but we'll see what happens.
Okay,
here.
they're on the Luverne 27-yard line pass. Oh, he had his receiver, but the receiver never looked. It might have been where he hadn't completely run his play yet or something, but he had him in the open for a split second, but the receiver never looked towards the ball. Probably a broken play on that pass pattern.
Chip, they had 2 wideouts to the right side and a quick slant pattern to the wideout. And again, like you said, he was not looking for the ball, evidently was running a different route than what the quarterback thought, but Plainview is throwing the ball down the field now. So, you know, this quarterback, Pruitt, can throw the ball. They've got some capable receivers. Luverne really needs to hold them out the end zone at this point.
All right, 2nd and 10 for the Plainview Bears at the Luverne 26-yard line. Just a little over 2 minutes to go in this contest. Pruitt back to pass. He breaks away from one, another, but they're going to tackle him deep. He broke through a couple of tackles, but the pressure was too immense from the Luverne Tigers, and they sacked the quarterback, number 12, Jeremy Pruitt, back at the 38-yard line, a loss of 12 yards. And other than that, the clock keeps running in the favor of the Luverne Tigers and against the Plainview Bears with a 3rd down and about, on the loss, it looks at about 22 yards to go.
Chip, you know, of course, Plainview has called a timeout and basically would have to score twice to even have a chance of even tying this game up. And Luverne's playing very aggressive and of course, with a lot of emotion right now as Coach Daniels goes out to the huddle and basically, again, probably tell them that, you know, do not give up the big play, some good pass rush, and basically they'll probably drop their ends off to prevent the screen from hurting them. But basically, Plainview needs a big play right here to try to get on the scoreboard. Chip, I'd like to just say, you know, both programs have had an outstanding season. You got to admire the athletes that have been dedicated and sacrificed as they have to play high school football, and it is a tremendous sacrifice. And of course, this game's been a great one and very cleanly played, and a lot of heart has been displayed and hard work and hard playing, and you got to admire these kids for doing that.
Okay, 3rd and 26-yard line, 26 yards to go on the 38-yard line of Luverne Tigers. Jeremy Pruitt set the pass. He gets the pass off, and he throws, and it's complete. But let's see where he's calling. He was just in bounds, David, and the officials are calling it complete. Deep inside the Luverne territory. In fact, it's going to be inside the 10-yard line. From our vantage point here, we couldn't tell if he was in bounds or out, but it was right on the sidelines, on that sideline pattern he ran.
Chip, great concentration by the receiver for Plainview. Again, the receiver, the official was right on the spot and called it good, but great concentration on the receiver's part. Pruitt basically laid it up for the cornerback or the receiver to catch it, and basically the receiver came down with it.
All right, 1st and goal to go for the Plainview Bears at the Luverne Tiger 8-yard line. 1:43 remaining in the 4th quarter play. Jeremy Pruitt, the quarterback, he's back to pass. Throws it in there, incomplete. Intended for number 22, the split end, Dennis Brown, but good pass coverage by the cornerbacks and the safeties for the Luverne Tigers. The clock doesn't move much, so it's still 1:39 remaining with 2nd and 8 for the Plainview Bears at the Luverne Tiger 8-yard line. 2nd and goal, correction to go for the Plainview Bears. They're still trailing by 14 points. If they don't get back in it, they're going to have to try to score here and do the onside kick and try to recover it. Luverne's defense is playing tough, though, trying to not let them get into their end zone. Jeremy Pruitt set back to pass, looking for a receiver. Heavy pressure, he gets it off. Incomplete. It went out of the back of the end zone. The Luverne cornerbacks and safeties were covering the receivers. He really didn't have time to find a man that was open and had to hurry to pass, and no one was really close to it, and it went deep out of the back of the end zone. So that'll bring up a 3rd and goal to go for the Plainview Bears at the Luverne Tiger 8-yard line.
Chip, Luverne has gotten to Pruitt here the 2nd half and hadn't had a whole lot of time to throw the football as it was then, so I think maybe he's hearing a few footsteps and looking out the corner of his eye a little bit.
All right, 3rd and 8. 2 backs in the wing T formation, but Pruitt said the pass. He's got a receiver open. It's number 22 for the Plainview Bears, Dennis Brown, but he's not into the end zone. He's still going to be short, but he gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:27 to go, and he just gains 3 yards down to the 5, David. He did stop the clock, but they've got to get into the end zone. It brings up a 4th and 5 for the Plainview Bears.
Chip, I'm impressed by Pruitt. That was a timing pattern. Made a great throw, and the receiver made a good catch. It'll be interesting to see what they do here.
All right, you know it'll be tremendous pressure applied by the Luverne linemen and linebackers on the quarterback, Pruitt. Let's see if he'll be able to get it off. We are anticipating a passing play with 1 set back. He rolls out to the right, looks for the open receiver, passes, and it's incomplete. It was intended for number 84 for the Plainview Bears, Anthony Smith. He was covered well, and the pass was just a little bit high. So Luverne will take over on downs at their own 5-yard line. They dodged the bullet there by the Plainview Bears.
Chip, Plainview basically put 3 receivers to the right side and were basically trying to run a hook route with one of the wide receivers. Basically went over the goal line and turned around, but a great defensive play by Luverne. Chip, basically right now, Luverne will probably just, run the ball and kill the clock, may even take a knee.
Okay, 1st and 10 to go for the Tigers at their own 5-yard line. Again, they just kneel down right up in the middle, not really trying to gain anything, but making sure they don't turn it over. The clock is running now with just over a minute. 1:06 to go in this 3A state championship game, and it looks like Coach Glenn Daniel is about to get his first state championship. He's been a coach here at Luverne for 37 years, worked real hard, a true Southern gentleman, and he deserves this state championship. The Luverne Tigers have worked real hard, but we've got to hand it to the Plainview Bears. They haven't given up here, and they've tried hard also. They're a well-coached team under the leadership of Dale Pruitt. His son, Jeremy Pruitt, is the outstanding quarterback. He's had an outstanding season leading the state in scoring with 546 total points in 14 games. The clock is going to under 30 seconds now. 3rd and 11 for Luverne. They're just going to fall on the ball. And it's going to be just over 20 seconds to go. I don't believe Plainview's going to have any timeouts left. The flags go down. The Plainview Bear players are getting a little upset. They've come so close in this state championship game, and so far, last year they got to the state championship game but were defeated by the Dallas County Hornets of Plantersville 40-7. tonight it hadn't been as lopsided a score, and except for a couple of turnovers, it was a pretty even game, David.
Chip, it really was, the first half especially, but you know, the team that takes advantage of turnovers is usually the one that has the best chance to win. And Luverne did that in the second half. Chip, I'd just like to say, you know, again, Coach Daniels, and we're going to hear the crowd erupt here in a minute, but Coach Daniels is a fine man and certainly one you'd want your young man to play for. And I'm very proud of him and of course, his coaching staff and these Luverne Tigers. They played hard tonight and certainly have accomplished what every team starts out in August to accomplish, and that is a state championship. But again, you know, you got to give credit to both sides for playing hard, and I think that'll be, they won't even get this play off, I don't think, Chip.
They don't have to run another play. It was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Plainview Bears, and they're counting the clock out, and the fans are running out on the field, and the Luverne Tigers, under the leadership of Coach Glenn Daniel, have their first state championship. The 1991 3A state championship, a 21-7 victory over the Plainview Bears from Rainsville, Alabama. A cleanly played game with very few penalties thrown against either team and just one or two unsportsmanlike conduct penalties or face masking penalties, and mainly that was due to the disgust of the Plainview Bears after they were not able to get it into the end zone. Let's summarize this game a little bit, David, and talk about the turnovers and how big a difference they made in the contest for Luverne.
Chip, you got to look at the first half, and you know, Plainview comes out and takes the opening drive 80 yards for a touchdown, and basically you would think that, you know, what all the hype about their powerful offense was certainly true. Their wing T offense was very explosive the first half, and you know, then Luverne coming back and having a lot of heart and a lot of, you know, strength to move the football on offense as well. They took their first drive of the game and moved the ball on Plainview, and of course we saw it right before the first half, we're able to score and tie this game up. And I think that had a lot to do with certainly the turnover by Plainview on their second drive of the game, that if they could have scored then, it might have been a difference in the ball game. But Luverne creating those turnovers and then being able to capitalize right before the half, and basically going in knowing with the momentum and having confidence and knowing they had a chance to win this ball game. And on the other side of the coin, Plainview going in with, you know, tied up, which they're not used to being in that situation, and probably scratching their head a little bit about, you know, if they were going to get a chance to do anything on offense, and were they going to get a chance to have the ball the second half. And basically Luverne had it the second half and controlled it just as they did the first half. So I think if anything you're going to point out, you'd have to say certainly turnovers, but ball control by Luverne has got to be a big point in the outcome of this game.
You're right, David, it was. And the two big turnovers in the third quarter where they capitalized on the fumble recoveries and carried them in the end zone has got to be the difference, like you had mentioned, because that was the two turnovers that led to Luverne touchdowns, and they took it and scored on them and capitalized on them. Whereas in the first half, they were inside the 10-yard line on two possessions and were not able to get any points, missing a field goal and then not able to get a first down when they were deep into Plainview territory. The fans are still celebrating here, and they're all out on the field. It looks like they're trying to tear down some of the goal posts, but I don't believe they can get them out of the ground. They're working hard on it and shake them a little bit, and the PA announcer's coming on the air and telling them not to bother it. But this is the first state championship for the Luverne Tigers and head coach Glenn Daniel. He's 65 years old, been the head coach at Luverne for 37 years, been in the high school coaching ranks for 42 years. He's a true Southern gentleman, and we're certainly proud of him for getting this state championship. And again, we would like to say our congratulations to the Plainview Bears from Rainsville. They had an excellent season. They were undefeated, ranked second in the state in the final poll. They've been the Class 3A area champions for 3 straight years, been runner-ups for 2 straight years. I know that's tough getting to the championship game and not being able to win it. Both times they played away, but they'll certainly be commended on a fine season too. They have nothing to be ashamed of. It's 62 other teams in Class 3A that would love to be in this position vying for a state championship, but one of them has to win it, and the Luverne Tigers tonight proved to be the better team, coming out with a 14-point victory, 21-7, over the Plainview Bears from Rainsville. So we're pleased to bring you this action tonight. Mr. Hal Freeman, Mr. Bogey Freeman, and the cameramen such as Ken Jordan. This will be the last football game they'll be bringing you during the 1991 season. Again, we want to thank them for bringing in all this coverage during the year. We want to thank the Goshen Eagle head football coach, David Helms, for being our commentator tonight. He's added a lot of good insight into the game and worked with us good on that. We had 3 cameramen tonight, Mr. Freeman informs me. It was Clark Coggins, Ken Jordan, Bogey Freeman, and Mr. Freeman, Mr. Hal Freeman himself. So we're having good coverage of this game. We hope you enjoy it, and we want you to watch it on Channel 52, where Pike County watches itself, and now where the Crenshaw County can watch this 3A state championship over here on Luverne TV and cable system, and just relive again the 3A state championship for 1991, won by the Luverne Tigers. So David, you got anything to add before we sign off tonight?
Chip, I think we pretty much said it all. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Freeman and yourself for inviting me down. It was a very exciting ball game, and of course we're excited about Luverne winning the 3A state championship, and hopefully all our area teams, Goshen, Pike County, Pike Liberal Arts, and Charles Henderson, we'll look forward to our spring jamborees and our respective schedules next August, and hopefully someone in the county can bring home a state championship as Luverne did tonight.
Okay, before we sign off here too, we would like to mention some of the facts about Coach Glenn Daniel. He is the winningest coach in Alabama high school football history. He has 294 victories now and has won his first state championship. He had been to the semifinal game with Luverne in 1981 and 87, but the Tigers were eliminated in the semifinal. Only 11 coaches in the entire United States have 300 victories. Coach Daniel is now 6 victories away. Hopefully he'll reach that plateau next year and wants to be the next one to join that list of coaches in the United States with 300 victories. In Alabama, no high school coach has 300 victories. So we want to recognize Coach Daniel on his first state championship, and after coaching 45 years and 472 football games, we'd like to congratulate Coach Glenn Daniel for winning his first state championship here with the Luverne Tigers in the 3A classification in 1991. Again, he's the winningest coach in the Alabama high school football history with 294 victories, hoping to get to 300 during Luverne season next year. We want to congratulate him on a super victory tonight. The game was well coached, as he always does, and he's done a fine job in all the 37 years here at Luverne High School. We're going to try to get Coach Glenn Daniel up here for an interview if we can, but so many of the other media personnel, like the television station WSFA Channel 12 and several of the radio stations and all the newspapers are trying to get interviews with him. We'll try our best to get him up here. If we're unsuccessful, you can understand, as he is the winningest coach in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. We're still going to work on trying to get Coach Daniel up here, but they've got him surrounded out there on the field. Everybody's trying to get interviews from him as he's won his first state championship after coaching for 37 years here at Luverne and a total of 42 years. Even the WSFA TV van is coming out on the field trying to get an interview with him. We'll certainly try to also, as we'd like to have him on Troy Cablevision and hear some of his remarks about winning his first state championship. Again, that's victory number 294, 6 away from being the first Alabama high school coach to reach the 300 victory plateau.
Get on, Ken. All right, come on, we'll go get him.
Okay.
You just have to hold it.
Hey, I don't. No, go ahead.
Make sure we.
Which number you on?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on.
Two switches now. You got both of them?
Yeah.
Don't move that thing around. Pin in the needle. Pin in the needle.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Coming real early. Also, there's cheese.
President, 1955. 37 years later, Coach Daniel went after his first state championship tonight. His Tigers hosting Plainview, and we'll pick it up in the second half with Luverne nursing a 21-7 lead. The Tigers defense in the red kept coming up with big defensive plays throughout the second half. Here, Antonio Brown comes up with the interception. Luverne held on to win. This was the scene after the game. What a special moment down in Luverne. Glenn Daniel being hoisted in the air by his team. The Tigers celebrate their first state championship. Luverne 21, Plainview 7 was the final score tonight. And joining us now live from Luverne is Luverne coach Glenn Daniel. Coach, congratulations. Was it worth the wait?
Yes, sir, Jeff, it sure was. This is my grandson, Glenn Daniel III. He's been right here with me, and I want to have him with me tonight, okay?
That's fine with us. Has it sunk in yet?
No, I'm living in a cloud nine right now. Everything is up in the air, but it sure does feel good, I'll say that.
What was the difference for you tonight in the ballgame?
Well, I think we made just a little adjustment after their first drive, and then they really, a couple of turnovers really, I think, kind of got us going good, and then we were able to score just before the half, and I think that really was kind of a turning point for us. It was, got it back to 7-7, and in the second half, we really played real well.
Can you remember a more rewarding, a more satisfying season than this one?
No, sir, I can't. I'm so proud of these boys because they aren't very large, and they're little, but they've got real good speed, and they've worked hard all year long, so I'm really proud of them. I believe they've probably played up to their potential as much as any team I've ever had.
And this might be a good time for you to consider stepping down. That's not your style, though. Are you going to be back next season? How are you going to top this?
Well, I'm going for number 300, I hope, next year. That's a big goal for me right now. I got 295 tonight, and I'm going to try that.
And one last question. Is your grandson going to play for the Tigers? What position is he?
Well, he's just a youngster. He's in elementary school yet. We're waiting on him for a while.
Glenn Daniel, thank you for joining us, and congratulations again on your first state championship, and we'll be following you next season as you go for win number 300. In the 2A state final tonight at Reeltown, the Rebels were trying to take the trophy away from Hazelwood. The Golden Bears had won 3 straight state championships. Now make that 4. Hazelwood beats Reeltown 32-22. Jerome Hand has the highlights from the 2A. After 44 years coaching high school football, Glenn Daniel finally found out what it was like to be carried off the field last season when his Luverne Tigers won their first state championship.
I'm really proud of them. I believe they probably played up to their potential as much as any team I've ever had.
8 months before the Tigers state title, Coach Daniel was inducted into the Alabama High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame.
They've put up with me in Luverne for about 38 years, and I've just really enjoyed it. I still get a big thrill out of it, and I think of them as mine, and just, it really thrills me folks call me coach.
It's a demanding profession. After 20 years or so, even the best coaches usually get tired of roaming the sidelines and working past sunset. But here he is, still going strong after nearly a half-century of coaching.
I just like it, and as long as I stay in pretty good health and if nobody gets mad with me, we'll try to stay with it. But I just do it just from year to year and see how things go the next.
Coach Daniel's contemporaries marvel at his stamina and the magical number 300 wins.
You know, Jeff Davis is real close to 200 wins, and we've been here 25 years. And Coach Daniel is, boy, he is a case study in perseverance, isn't he? To have been in as long as he had, and to be as successful as he has, and to win 300 football games, I think would be every coach's dream.
But Coach Daniels is a great fella, and I wish him all the luck in the world. That's a great tribute and a great honor to him. I've been coaching 18 years now, and I think I'm somewhere around 100 and something, but 300, gee whiz, that's incredible.
And I know that he's proud of it, and he's such a fine person and a fine gentleman. You know, all the coaches pull for him except when the night they play against him.
The guys who have lined up for Coach Daniel over the years have become better football players under his leadership, but they've also become better people.
I thought he was the background of high school football. I mean, really, he's just great guy, great coach, and I mean, he just knows his football.
A good man. I mean, head like a computer or something. I mean, it's uncanny.
He's there for you if you want somebody to talk to. He's always around if you need him.
I'm just glad I was a part of a couple of those victories.